Nation, the entertainment feed community. Wagwan. Whether you're on the Thursday Spotlight Thursdays, community members, enough love and blessings on the Thursday. Hope you all had a productive day. Whether you once again with the NT News, the hot topics, the updates. With that said, on to the topics. Dancehall artist Vybz Kartel over on his camp after his final day of his Privy Counsel hearing. The entertainer and his team are very optimistic. Why wouldn't they be? After how the judges, or the lords as them call them, handled the prosecution from yesterday to today. They have been hammered about the corrupt juror being a part of the case, allowed to remain in the jury. And as stated in the previous report, they seem as if they can't get past that. So we totally understand why Vybz Kartel and his team are so optimistic. Right after court was adjourned, the entertainer shared this: Grand Rising, hashtag Gaza Nation, prayers, peace, love, 100. The attorney Isaac Buchanan, he later went on social media, went on live to speak about the case and to answer questions pertaining to the case.
If you want to convict somebody, you must do it legally. It's almost like you can't, two wrongs don't make a right. And to ask that you waive it, waive my wrongs because that person is wrong, is the most kindergarten response and absurdity in the law. A lack of respect for what we as Jamaicans decided to do to protect. Somebody said, Isa, what does your peers mean? Is it race and status considered? Alright, so if Queenie was here, in Jamaica, everybody bad, poor. Your peers is everybody. We drive on the same road from the same road as you. If you're a Jamaican, you are my peers. Whether you're out of many, one is your peers. The thing is, you have to identify discrimination. And remember, there are a lot of broken people in society. A lot of broken people. So what we're faced with now is the judge ultimately could not discharge the poison. And that is what we were talking about today. Having a poison. So you ever buy grapes? Or you ever buy a bag of fruits, a bag of orange, and one of them spoil? And it rests on the next one, it makes the next one rotten. And that's why them say, rotten grapes spoil the whole bunch. The same thing. Anything rotten, you put something rotten around things fresh, it contaminates it. And if you leave a rotten grape in a bag of grapes and you leave it, it ferments. And then after it rotten and all of that, the drunken people them turn it in a wine and then them drink and drunk. And then when them drunk, them get them 30 pieces of silver and then them turn Judas. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. You get the point. I don't have to get too much into that. Save on to say that you must know, would you want, it's almost like this. Jamaica have a scamming problem. Would you want a scammer pan your jury? Would you want that, knowing it? Or it's almost like this. Let me show you this new standard. Let me give you the new standard because I want you to appreciate this. Uno no say 6 people in a parliament corrupt. Uno don't know them name. Uno really alright with that? Because that's what happened. That is exactly what happened. And the court sanctioned that. So that is why in the Jamaican space, certain things don't matter. Represent the 12 jurors who are juror of your peers. That is the key thing about it. The 12 disciples represent the 12 jurors of your peers. So it tells you that in the disciples, at least one of them are going to sell out. At least one will sell out. And so what it is the most important thing is that you must get a fair trial because it's you. So when you hear things that talk about, I waive it and I took the gamble. Took the gamble with my life. You took a gamble with my life and you're asking the apex court to respect that you are a gambler. Guy, if you gamble with my life, You will gamble for 30 pieces of silver. Anybody will tell me say them a gambler, them no, me no want them around my money, cause it look like a SSL you come from. And if you declare yourself a gambler, you should resign from your position. How you think about that? It sounds wrong. And so, here we have a poison that was allowed to stay and fester. And if you know anything about people, just put them in a room and poison them. And you see the result of that. That's it, you know. That's it. But I digress. I'm not here to speak about politics. I'm here to speak about context matters and to be careful about the words that you use because they can be emotive. Yes? Never in common law and not in my lifetime has there ever been a poison placed on a jury, a corrupted person that we know are corrupted, like 6 people in parliament that we know are accused of corruption and are allowed to stay there by process and procedure. Never has that happened when it comes to a man's liberty. A man's liberty is at stake, and corruption is what was used to send the 4 men to prison. You see how Jamaica corrupted? Corruption was sanctioned and you witness it for 2 days. They beg for corruption to be certified. Corruption, you know. They took corruption out of Jamaica and brought it to the streets of England and walked into the apex court of our land and said, these are our submission. Corruption can be allowed to stand. We turn a blind eye to it because that is what we want. That's what we want for our nation. To be allowed to let corruption stand in pockets. And even when we know, provided in a particular situation, people we don't like, people from a certain area, we can deal with them, and we should have that power. If that is not dangerous, I don't know what danger is. If that is not concerning, I don't know what it is. We're going to talk about the jury. We're going to talk about ideal, because sometimes some people test your spirit, you know, and you have to sit down and say, more time you have to say, yo, I want to do something, you know. But then you think, I can't go lay down the people them dog kennel. It's not like America where they actually have, you know, prison conditions that are conducive in the federal space. Or it's not like Denmark or spaces where actual white people live and they have to make sure say they don't breach human rights. But the conditions is not in a place where you would have to respect yourself. So you don't even want to thief a mango because they're going to treat you like you did commit a murder. You don't want to lose your conscience. And the thing about it is, that's one aspect of it. Because if you put it in context, there are people who say, yo, this is me and this is what I'm going to do no matter what. And so these things aren't deterrents of crime. And these are the conversations that we have to have. But to have these conversations, the system must be a working system without the possibility of cracks in the system that would allow the common man. And when I say common, I'm not talking common like common foul, but the man, a simpleton. A man who say, I don't want much, you know. I just want to do my 9 to 5. I just want to work my $13,000 a week. And I just want, when Friday come, I just go in on my KFC line and get myself a meal deal. Because I can't even afford a big deal. So 1 piece of chicken for me and the thigh or the breast for the daughter. Because she can't cook. Nah, nyam for her man anyway, because I don't want her poison me. Them kind of things there. So for the simpleton to look on, and when he looks on, he says, you know, that you don't want nobody take away from your simple life. And you look on and him say, boy, because the country me live in, it's a place where I know, say, if I work hard and I do my best, I will have pride and joy, and I can have hopes and dreams. And if I miss the boat, my kids will probably make me proud one day. Because that's what happened. Bob Marley mother have 9 kids. Bolt mother have 9 kids. If that and look what came from that. Do I need to talk about the Jacksons and Serena Williams and her sister them? And the Tony Braxtons? Whole heap of picnic. You must get a star when you have whole heap of picnic. So then the nurse lady would not say, oh, the Jamaican people them stop have picnic. Because if he was busy procreating, you probably wouldn't be out there committing crimes. But I digress. I don't know. Maybe I'm no authority for that. But the point I'm making is, in the context, and because I know people like to cut up and snip up. So let me make something clear. Speculation is a dangerous tool. It is not based on facts. It is based on too many hypotheticals. It's not even circumstantial. It is completely ludicrous. It's like people in speculation. You can include aliens. You can include teleportation. You can include time travel, because you speculate say so it would have happened. So if somebody don't come by plane and them don't come by boat, them teleport. You see me? You overs. You understand? You overstand. But with speculation, it is a problem. Yes, that's correct. 2 to 3 months. Well, we get it at we're not rushing the lords. They will do what they have to do, and they have a reputation to always be on time, because delay is also a part of the Constitution. A breach of the Constitution is delay, and whatever compensation from the delay is a matter for the court, but they recognize that. So the jury trials are already an essential part of fair trial rights. So the right to a fair trial means that if we are charged with a criminal offense, or if a public body is making decisions that impact our right, this has to be fair. So a fair hearing is what has to be fair. You must get the opportunity to be heard. Once you get the opportunity to be heard, you can't go wrong in a life. Who wants to live in a world where people just don't have no respect for human rights? But the difference in the modern time is the people you have to stay alive and fight for your freedoms and your rights, because there are many before us: Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, Sam Sharp. Some of them died, and they had to fight for our freedoms, for us to now be doing that to our brothers and sisters and being unfair to them. So Lord Camden quoted in Rosemary Bell Antoine's Commonwealth, Caribbean Law and Legal Systems that trial by jury is indeed the foundation of our free constitution. When you take that away, the whole fabric will soon moulder into dust. You hear that? It is indeed the foundation of our free constitution, and when you take it away, the whole fabric of the justice system molder into dust. So in recent times, the jury system has come under a lot of criticism, and certainly for this one, it will be, however, argued that for all the drawbacks, there are stronger advantages supporting the retention of the jury system and the lack of adequate alternative, and shows that a common law community, we are not quite ready to abolish the jury system. So there was a whole talk by a famous journalist that if this case wins, Jamaica will abolish the jury system. I don't think so. I think legislators simply have to legislate that if you tamper with the jury or there is jury tampering, the trial continues with judge alone. That's what happens in England. So it preserves the jury system, and if you really want to be tried by a jury of your peers, you won't tamper with the system. So according to the Ministry of Justice of Jamaica, persons accused of certain crime acts are judged by a jury of their peers, a practice inherited from the British jurisprudence. A jury is a group of people drawn from civil society and who bring their common sense, experience, and wisdom to the matter of determining the guilt or innocence of a fellow citizen. This is done because of the belief that these jurors understand the nuances and idiosyncrasies of their society and bring their collective experience to bear on a trial. The trial by jury ensures that the citizens of a state are accountable to each other for decisions made rather than to a government appointed judge. So in other words, the basis for a jury is that it is a representative cross-section of the local community and therefore is more likely to judge in line with generally accepted values of the society. So jurors represent diverse backgrounds and therefore individual prejudices are likely to be neutralized. So justification for trial by jury is naturally what you would have heard just now. So what are the criticisms? Well, the first kink in the system is the selection process. With a wide list of exemptions, this results in a narrow pool of eligible persons who can be selected to sit on the panel. Most public officials, lawyers, and persons who provide essential services such as doctors and soldiers are exempted from jury service. This has an impact on the composition of the jury and raises the question whether the jury represents the defendant's peers and attains a true representation of society. So jury qualifications result in both gender and class inequality, with results in a composition which seldom represents the defendant. So you can imagine being an artist, you can imagine being a successful, and then the people who going to come and sit on your jury, your guys and the whole gully and the whole I don't really know nothing other than Gaza and gully. Where the other people them name? Somebody help me out. Oh, you missed that interview already. There was one already. You know, you will see the update. Check it out when it happened. Vendetta, yeah, those vendetta people, and yeah, and whatever those other people are, and you can imagine they come on the jury and say, this is an opportunity for me to do good for my vendetta people and the Crocs people, and the general side people, and the 66 1XXX people, yeah, and the Psalms 91 people too, yeah, all of those people, yeah. Can you imagine? And they want to eliminate the competition. So could they ever really be your peers if they're biased and they don't indicate that to the jury? So they always talk about the unrepresentative composition of the jury is further compounded by the small multicultural societies found in the Caribbean. So another concern is inconsistencies between verdicts given and the evidence presented in court. So let's talk about that. You don't know, you can't even use a cell phone, but you bring back technological evidence in less than, you're ready for find people guilty in less than 2 hours after a 65-day trial. Some people don't even work 65 days in their life, and them can come and talk about them are going to take information. I'm criticizing, so this is the criticism. So context matters. Anyway, what I'm drawing your attention to is after 65 days of trial, you get a bunch of, and here I'm going to take this part and say, I thought it's so disrespectful. Uneducated people, put them in a room and expect them, and uneducated in the sense that they are not forensic experts. Their competence level in terms of technological information is a little bit superior, and so they need a lot more instructions to understand that what they're supposed to do. Compound that with a situation where there is bribery. There's a situation where they know that they will go to prison when they vote. To put it in time a different way, pressure under them, fire under them, mus tail, and then think a cool breeze. And the result is, if you stay true to what you're supposed to do, you'll go to prison. And evidence of that is one of them. The man get found guilty, and them send the man go to prison. Who's gonna put themselves through that? Think on these things. So anyway, given that there's a whole lot of conversation that it leads to the jury disregarding the rules of law and coming up with inaccurate verdicts. An example where the jury considered both facts and law, though erroneously left to them, can be seen in the case of Sukram, 1971, where they had to determine whether the issue of self-defense rose on the facts. A task the court held was for the judge and not the jury. So sometimes there are tasks held for the judge and not the jury, but that's not the complaints to everyone, except for when things are complicated, your peers is not necessarily the best person to assist or help you. And we have to be very mindful of that and care about that. Hold on. Nicole, so why was the evidence seen bulldozer down? I'm glad that was raised today, but the scene was in police custody when that happened. So the best person to ask is the police. What's the next question? And these are the critiques, or these are the things that's happening that you expect to the things was raised that there was an order in the house, but the dog did dead, and that was said it. They said that there was blood, that those things not true. So we have to be careful in terms of the reality of what's in the space and what is not. But I'm not here to try no case because I wasn't the trial attorney. Big up yourself, Mr. Tom Tavares, KFC. Mr. Vincent, KFC boss. So the perceived ignorance and incompetence of the jury is another cause for concern. In Nanan and the State, 1986, the foreman instructed the jury that a majority verdict was needed when in fact it should have been unanimous, as he did not know the meaning of the word unanimous. Literacy and low level of education can have a negative impact on the process of trial by jury. I'm reading from a book, so if anybody think I'm disrespecting, I'm showing you what the critique is. Can you imagine somebody come and say, yeah, we have to get a majority verdict, that's how we do it. Because you see, in my constituency, when we have vote all the people them, and the majority them we use, and we have to be majority upon this when he's trying to say unanimous. Think on those things. Jury may place too much emphasis on their feelings. Feelings, nothing more than my feelings. And it allows their decisions to be affected by sympathies for the defendant or the victim instead of making their decisions on the evidence alone. According to Antoine, this leads to an unfair lack of uniformity in decisions and to an unpredictability in the law, since jury law will change from case to case and from jury to jury. So it is unlike the certainty of a judicial precedent which followed on points of legal principle. So jurors may also be affected by prejudice and bias, and it is believed that juries are greatly influenced by the appearance, class and manner of defendants and witnesses. For example, the negative view of Rastafarians. Jurors may be willing to let their prejudices make up their minds before the trial even begin. And trust me, it's not just jurors. I can tell you, I went in front of some people and just my Rasta alone made them say, yo, I'm the worst thing. And with that 2 years, So the jurors' engagement during the trial, which may be affected by boredom or willingness to be present, is also a cause for concern. So it is quite possible for decisions to be rushed because jurors want to go home. These things sound familiar? Think on these things. Yes, BCA. Yes, Lotto. Big up the rat. Yeah, Demon. What kind of name that? Sunshine. Rochelle. Yeah, you're following me. Big up my TikTok people. Why the police officer bring home the accused phone? So them days their phone did hard for buy, and Blackberry and them things there. When you have your little Nokia banger, you want to play with a Blackberry and them things there. So you take home the phone and you go to KFC and you buy a 6-piece and you say, hey my girl, may I come check you? May I bring some KFC for you? And then you yeah, you give me the ungle mengle. Yeah. So in the smaller jurisdictions within the Commonwealth Caribbean, the general problems with jury trials are often exacerbated. So local knowledge of the defendant and or the crime can lead to impartiality, and this is magnified by ease of access to new reports and even further magnified by the technological advances of the modern era. So this begs the question of how well the jury system can work in the 21st century now that the internet makes it impossible to research a defendant's or witness history. How can you ask for a retrial given the mass publicity for years with the most popular human being in the criminal justice system at the moment? Just you just let me know that.